One of the most recognizable and unique elements of Frank Herbert's Dune is the rare and precious commodity at the center of this sci-fi epic, spice. In this video, I'd like to examine what exactly spice is, why it is so highly valued, and what effect it has on the socio-political landscape of the Duniverse. The story of Dune begins amidst a feudal interstellar society where any and all machine computing technology is strictly prohibited. 10,000 years ago, humanity had reached a point where machines were doing the thinking for them, and thus humans became enslaved by them. After the Great Revolt that ravaged the known universe, all machines made in the likeness of a human mind were banned. It was a turning point for mankind's development, after which humans endeavored to advance civilization in a different way. This time, the focus was not so much on technology, but rather on advancing human talents and abilities. The discovery of Melange was another great turning point for civilization. Melange, more commonly referred to as spice, is quite simply a drug. It is a heavy, powdery substance with a wide variety of uses. One notable benefit is its ability to extend one's lifespan and to improve overall health. For that purpose alone, one can see why it is so valuable. The caveat, however, is that the spice has highly addictive properties, and withdrawal from the substance can be lethal. The demand is certainly high, and so the spice trade is by far the most lucrative, though it's usually only the extremely wealthy that could even afford such an addiction. This precious resource is especially treasured by the most powerful institutions in the universe. Spice is only found on the distant desert world of Arrakis. Besides the health benefits of ingesting this drug, many other uses for it have been discovered. For the local Fremen population, spice is a part of daily life. It permeates everything and plays a large part of their diet, as plant and animal life is very scarce. The substance can be made into food as well as drinks such as spice coffee, beer, and liquor. It can also be processed into practical materials like paper, plastics, cloth, and even explosives. The color of melange, in a gaseous form, is said to be orange. In other books, Frank Herbert adds further to the appearance of spice, describing mounds of it as dark reddish-brown and adding that it could appear to glow a radiant blue in certain dim lighting. The spice tastes and smells like cinnamon, though it has been described that each taste of it is never quite the same. A striking physical side effect of consuming spice is that over time, once a person's blood has become completely saturated with it, their eyes will turn a deep blue within blue. As such, all the local population of Arrakis have this trait that is referred to as the eyes of Ibad. This is a point of pride for the Fremen, though others in the Imperium wear contact lenses to hide this clear indicator of spice addiction. Though the physical side effects of using the substance are certainly unique with its benefits and drawbacks, the reason it is so crucial to humanity's infrastructure is its psychotropic effects. It heightens mental awareness and can unlock prescience in some, which is the ability to see into the future. The spice has become an essential commodity to two of the most powerful institutions in the universe, the Order of the Bene Gesserit and the Spacing Guild. These organizations wield great power and influence in the Empire, and the spice plays a vital role in their operations. The Bene Gesserit, over thousands of years, have honed their minds and bodies to perform superhuman feats, and in a ritual known as the Spice Agony, acolytes earn the rank of Reverend Mother by ingesting a lethal concentrated form of melange, changing it within themselves to be harmless. Those that survive the ordeal gain a wealth of knowledge as they are then able to access their female ancestors' memories. The Bene Gesserit depend greatly on melange, not only for the abilities it unlocks in them and the part it plays in their plans for humanity, but for those that become Reverend Mothers, they have a greater need of a continuous supply to feed their spice addiction. As such, much of the sisterhood's wealth goes towards the accumulation of it. The Spacing Guild relies greatly on this substance as well. When the story of Dune begins, the Guild has a complete monopoly on space travel. Their massive ships are able to transport an immense amount of goods, equipment, and passengers. Their Holtzman engines fold space to achieve instantaneous space travel. However, it is the Guild's use of spice in particular that has enabled them to dominate the market on interstellar transport. Before the discovery of spice, space travel was very risky. Without a viable means to digitally chart coordinates and avoid hazards in space, arriving safely at the intended destination was a roll of the dice. Spice makes a safe form of this kind of FTL travel possible. High-ranking members of the Guild, known as Navigators, require a great deal of the substance to achieve prescience, or multidimensional awareness, to foresee and chart safe paths through space. Guild members that become Navigators must consume large doses of Melange. Over time, their body starts to mutate, eventually reaching a point to where they look more fish-like and must remain in a tank filled with spice gas. The Guild has achieved enormous wealth and influence by their monopoly on interstellar transport, and yet they too are at the mercy of the treasured commodity to feed their addiction. And so every decision they make is ultimately to ensure the spice keeps flowing. One reason the spice is so rare is that it cannot be manufactured or synthesized, it can only be mined. The ecology of Arrakis is uniquely suited for the production of spice. In a natural process that begins deep below the surface of the desert planet, a pre-spice mass develops. This is where the excretions of organisms called sand trout mix with water, causing pressure to build until eventually the mass explodes to the surface. When it is exposed to the sun and air, it becomes the refined form of spice that is harvested. Further adding to the rarity of this unique resource is the fact that collecting it is an extremely dangerous and complicated undertaking. Enormous creatures called sandworms patrol the desert. They are fiercely territorial and are attracted to the rhythmic sounds of the harvesting equipment. It takes a coordinated effort to collect the spice and to avoid the sandworms' attacks. They are a constant threat to those seeking to plunder this treasure. The risk is great, but the spice trade is incredibly lucrative as the entire known universe has come to depend on it. Any significant interruption in spice production would not only cripple civilization, but also lead to countless deaths across the universe as a result of spice withdrawal. Because of this, the powers that be are prepared to do whatever is necessary to make sure the spice keeps flowing. The role of spice is essential in the outworking of the story of Frank Herbert Dune, and it is one of the main driving forces behind the plot. It is very accurate to say that whoever controls the spice controls the universe. I'm excited to see how Denis Villeneuve presents this most unique element of Frank Herbert's creation in the upcoming adaptation of this iconic novel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy content. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.